In this episode, we're going to start tearing down the Fiesta ST. Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode. So today we're going to be stripping down the ST. I want to take the wings off, going to take the front off, going to start surveying all the bits that need to be replaced in the car. So we're going to have a good run through on that, and then we're going to see if we can get this car started. Because that's the thing that's really troubling me, especially last week where that mechanical sound we heard, which was quite worrying. It sounded kind of big ends wise, but I just don't understand that to be the case if the car just had a little bit of a whack, or a big whack, let's face it. So let's see if we can get this car running, and let's see if we can get to the bottom of the noise. And if we can, that would be great, because we're going to make some progress. We don't have to strip the engine to pieces, which I really don't want to do. I want to get this car back on the road as soon as possible. So without further ado, let's go out to the car and let's start stripping it down. Okay, let's start the strip down. So what I want to try and get done today is I want to get the front bumper off, so we can take a look underneath and see what's going on there. And if I can, I want to also take off the front wing as well, see if we can get this off, and at least then take a good look at that. I'm going to take the headlight off, because to get the front bumper off there's a bolt underneath there from what I saw on the instruction manual, so I need to take that off, and then I can give that a good clean before I put it back in the car. So, and then we've got these couple of bolts in the front here. We'll take those off, and then that should free up the bumper. Right, let's crack on and get that done then. Okay, bumper off. That was relatively easy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off that trim down the bottom. There's one bolt holding it in, 8mm bolt. So we'll undo that, and then that will release the whole of the front, and I'll collect that and keep that because that's obviously still in good nick. I think it might be broken at end. It might be, but we'll see if we can salvage it. But anyway, we'll make sure we'll get that in, and then see what we're going to do with that bumper. Right, let's get that bit off then. Okay, so I think from the front point of view, I think we've got everything off. Now we need to just start concentrating on the wing section and taking that apart so we can see what we need to do there. But I'm getting a good idea of the shape of what this needs to look at. So if you look over here, you can see this leg here, that's straight, and then we can also see just underneath here the wing mount, where the wing mounts to. And if you look on this side, we can see that that's pretty much upside down, which it shouldn't be, and this here is pretty much crushed, so we've got to pull that out, and that's quite an important piece. So here's where the headlight amounts to, but obviously here we need to get that straight and get that back to true. We're not going to get that completely straight, but looking at what it does, it's not really mounting or doing anything important. So if you can see here, you can see underneath here we've got the frame, the arch, but this box section here doesn't really do anything because the headlight attaches to here and then populates this whole area here. So what we need to do is on here is just get this back to a state where the headlight can once again mount to a point, and then once we got that, then I think we should be able to get away. But I'm gonna do as much as I can to make it back as true as possible, but we're not going to get that perfect. So yeah, Okay, so let's concentrate on the wing now.
Many tic-tacs later.
Okay, so it's wing time. Time to get this wing off. So I've been having a lot of thoughts about this area here, about what we're going to do. My original idea was to pull it out. I don't think that's a good idea because it's so heavily damaged. The best course of action is to actually cut it off and then weld in the new pieces, and then we know it's going to be done properly, and it's also going to give us a more accurate measurement to install the wing. So that's the plan of action that we're going to take. But first of all, we need to take that wing off, and then we can assess what parts we need to get for the car in order to fulfill the new parts, because I think this is going to be made up of a few parts rather than just the one. So let's get the wing off first, and then we can take a closer look. Okay, so that's the wing out. So now we can start concentrating on see if we can get this car started. And if referring to what I was talking about earlier on, so this is the section here. You can see this here. This is far too crumpled to really even attempt to pull, because even though I was able to get this straight, it will be quite easy for it to, if it had another impact, it's just going to collapse straight away. And although this is not a structural part of the vehicle, this is literally just to hold the wing in place. For my peace of mind, I'll be more comfortable replacing that. So this is the area that comes as part of it. So you can see that's the line there. And what we've got to do is we've got to drill out these welds here. Then we've got a couple of screws here, and then literally we just got to prise it apart here. And then this is the inner piece, which follows the same lines. And once this piece here comes off, there's a couple of spot welds on the other side that we do, and then that will release the whole thing. So we've got a spot weld there, a spot weld there, a spot weld there, basically all along. We're just going to undrill those bits, and then the whole thing should come apart. So it will take a little while to take it off, but at least then we have peace of mind to know that it's been done properly. So that's going to be the task as soon as I order the bits, and I've ordered the bits from Ford online, so they're going to take a while to come, but once they do come, we'll be able to crack on with that. So far so good. Let's get this car started, and at least then I can end off the day satisfied that at least the car fires up. Okay, so I just wanted to show you, so this is obviously, as we've been speaking about, the crumpled side. Let me show you what the good side looks like when you take it apart. So that's exactly what we should have. We should be a nice straight bar here. You can see the inner skin that we were speaking about earlier on. So that's the inner skin that bolts or welds onto the hub where the shock screws to, and then this is the outer component here, and then you can see that bit here that where the wing bolts onto. So this just provides some structural rigidity to this area here, although this is not really a structural piece, so it's not really providing any structural reference here. But in the event that this bit is crushed, then it does exactly what it's designed to do, and that is absorb the impact, taking it away from the cabin. So to pull this out, that strength is not going to be there, and that's the reason why we're going to replace it and do this right. So right, so let me talk to you about something else that I found, an issue with the car that may be the reason why our car is not starting. So I've just put this back in now. This is one of the packs, the coil packs of the car, and what led me to this was that it was loose. So the screw was loose, it's tight now. I took it out and had a quick look, and actually the spark plug in there was loose as well. I mean, really loose. So I've taken the spark plug out, given it a clean and re-gapped it, because the gap on these should be, if I'm right, between 0.8 and 0.7 according to the workshop manual. So it was currently at 0.9, so I'll pull it at 0.7, which is its minimum, and that's now back in the car. So what I'm going to do in a second is I'm going to take the other three out to check those, because it makes no sense as to why that spark plug was loose. It's not like the spark plug works its way loose, they just don't do that. I have a hunch that the previous owner had some competition plugs or performance plugs in there, and he wanted to take them out and didn't put the new plugs in correctly. So if that's the case, that would be the reason why this car didn't start. And what a stupid fix, or an easy fix rather, and what a stupid reason for the car not starting. It makes me wonder though how Copart were able to start the car, because when I looked at the image, the car was definitely started. Anyway, a couple of other things that we need to replace. So I've taken this water bottle apart, I've taken the pipes off there. So this pipe here, it normally has a clip at the end which clips into here, a bit like this one here. This one goes into the top here, this one goes into the bottom. That clip was broken. Now Ford don't sell the clip, they only sell the whole pipe. So I've ordered one of these replacement pipes. The one down, this one here goes on the bottom, that's fine. But this water tank, this expansion tank bottle is absolutely fine. We don't need to do anything with that. Down here we've got our crash bar. Now if you can see from the side there, you can see that the top here has been crushed in. If I show you the other side, you'll see that that's clearly square. So what we're going to do, we're going to replace that, because that's clearly damaged. I could bang it into place, but again, we're not going to compromise on the structural rigidity of the car. We're going to make sure that this car is back to its factory OEM settings. And if you look here, you will see that this has come away. You can see it's broken off the weld here, and as a result, this frame here at the front, which holds the radiator and the air conditioning radiator expansion tank, that's come off here, and that's because this has been pushed back. This is here, so that has to go. We're going to replace that, and then that will be back to its factory settings. So other than that, the car, all the damage is the damage I expected. In fact, it's less than what I expected, which is great. So I'm going to take off this spark plugs now. I'm going to take off the rest of the coil packs and check the plugs, and then after that we're going to give the car a start and see if it starts. If it starts, that would be a major coup. Good, let's crack on and do that. Okay, so that is the plugs. All or four of the plugs were loose. So I'm hoping that's going to be the reason why the car won't start, but we'll find out in a second. I've just got to put the camshaft or crankshaft sensor back into place, because I took that off because I figured that might have been a fault due to the error code. So let's go and put that back on, and then we'll give the car a start. Okay, so the crankshaft positioning sensor lives in this box here, so I'm going to loosen, well, it's loose already as you can see. I'm going to take this off, and then we're going to here is the actual sensor. This is what it looks like. This is the old one that I took off, and there's no reason why it should fail. They're not, or something that often fails unless they've had a whack, and certainly when I took it off, this casing here was not damaged. So what I'm going to do, we'll take the casing off, and then we'll put it back, and then we'll start the car first of all to make sure that it's working before we put the casing back in where it should be. So I left the nut in place. This is the bit that connects up to it, so let's get this back in. Okay, so we're in the car. Let's moment of truth. get the ignition started, and let's get this car started. Here we go. And that's it, car is started. Fantastic. Let's give it some revs. Wow, I am happy with that. That is brilliant. Well, I'm going to turn the car off because it doesn't have much water in the system. But yep, that was it. All it was the spark plugs were loose, and they were all loose. So we've tightened them back up, and now the car is sounding sweet. No knocking noises, just the sweet purring sound of a 1.6 EcoBoost engine, which is brilliant. So happy with that. I think we can call this a day now. Okay, so far this car's coming on really well. Can't wait for the bits to come along so we can start really making some progress on this car. And it's treated me well so far, so may that long continue so we can get this car back on the road and really start to enjoy the benefits of such a smart car. Cool. So that's it for this week. So the Fiesta is really coming on well, and I'm really happy with the progress that we've made so far. So next week we're going to be taking those spot welds out so that we can get those pieces off in readiness for the new replacement parts that will come. So that should be interesting to see. And then of course we need to start receiving the parts that we've been ordered. So this build is going to be really good. So as always, we're going to encourage you all to subscribe if you're a casual viewer, and don't forget to hit that notification button so that you can be notified whenever we release a new video. So that's all for this week. Thank you very much for viewing, and we will see you next Monday.